Quarry is a new teen horror narrative game from Supermassive Games. Now, you might know Supermassive as the studio behind the Dark Pictures Anthology, the series of spooky games including Man of Medan, Little Hope, and House of Ashes. Now, while The Quarry isn't actually a part of the Dark Pictures series, it is considered a spiritual successor of sorts to Until Dawn, Supermassive's other teen horror, released in 2015, that saw your choices lead a bunch of young adults trapped together on a remote mountain, either to safety or to their brutal demise. The Quarry plays similarly to all of these other titles. At various points you control all of the 9 central characters in the game, sometimes exploring a space for clues, sometimes making a narrative choice, sometimes feverishly mashing buttons to escape a monster, or successfully completing timed QuickTime events in order to not die. And there are some new mechanics at play here too. We actually recently got to play an hour's worth of The Quarry thanks to an early demo of the game. And although we weren't allowed to capture that gameplay, we do have some brand new B-roll to show you as we talk through some of our major takeaways. So, after spending some time away at camp, here are just a few reasons we think you should be excited for The Quarry.
Sorry.
Just stick to Kumbaya next time, okay?
What's that?
You guys don't do Kumbaya anymore?
So, first of all, what's it all about?
Oh my god, Ryan, you will not believe this.
What?
It's nothing.
Oh.
Well, our demo started a little ways into the game, but we were given a short catch-up video to watch that filled us in on the key story beats thus far. Basically, the plot follows a bunch of summer camp counselors who, through a series of slightly shady events, end up having to stay one more night at the remote camp Hackett's Quarry after the kids and adults have left the grounds. And of course, inevitably, what starts out as a fun, sexy time for everyone quickly turns into a fight for their lives as they experience run-ins with some bloodthirsty locals and something else not entirely human. Our demo began just as the sun is setting and the counselors are securing provisions for the night ahead. We're introduced to the expected potential couples, the unrequited love triangles, and get to know each of the characters a little bit. As tends to be the case with Supermassive Games, there are some notable names in the cast. There's Ariel Winter, Justice Smith, Ethan Suplee, Siobhan Williams, and they're joined by some horror legends, including David Arquette, Lance Henriksen, Ted Raimi, and my personal favourite, Lynn Shay, best known as absolute badass babe Elise in the Insidious film series. Although none of the older actors featured in our demo, by far the standout star of that gameplay was Brenda Song, who plays fast-talking gun safety expert Caitlin. In a tutorial section, she teaches 2 of the other characters, and us, how to use a shotgun that they found in one of the abandoned cabins, while also making sure they know exactly how dangerous it is. And she's just generally really sharp and funny. She seems to be one of the rare characters in a horror scenario that actually uses common sense, and therefore we will be protecting her at all costs.
Alright, Nick. This time for real.
So the demo started off pretty calmly and we took control of Caitlin and took some pictures of the lake at sunset. Here you can potentially spot a suspicious light in a supposedly abandoned building. And then you can choose to either playfully antagonize or show concern for our friends when they see something in the forest while gathering firewood. Choosing dialogue is of course nothing new to Supermassive Games. Usually you'll get a choice between 2 distinct responses to a statement, playful or serious for example, or impatient or worried. And the response you choose will determine how character relationships are shaped or even what direction the story goes in. A character might think you're making fun of them for choosing a playful response instead of a serious one. And being impatient with someone scared or in shock might mean that you don't uncover important information about what you're about to go up against. It's a fun system that works really well for these games. You never really know where particular responses will take you, and the game's frequent autosaves mean that you do usually have to live with your spur-of-the-moment choices. You can't just reload and get a sneaky do-over. And even if you did, the consequences of a particular action or choice may not show up until much, much later in the game, and they often manifest in pretty unexpected ways.
Like, if you're trying to scare me, it's not gonna work. what the fuck?
I can't breathe.
A new mechanic for the Quarry is the interrupt feature. Sometimes certain things will happen throughout the game that you might decide you don't want to see play out, just in case it leads to unwanted consequences. In a more benign example of this during our demo, we could choose to interrupt an awkward moment during a game of Truth or Dare to spare a friend some embarrassment. Of course, later in the game, interrupting or not interrupting actions as they unfold will almost certainly mean life or death for some of the counselors. And if you do or don't do something that alters the course of the entire story, whether that's an interrupt or a dialogue choice or a decision over the course of the plot, you'll get a path chosen cue appear on screen, noting that what you've just done has had a pretty big impact on your overall narrative. No pressure. Then again, the Quarry apparently has tons of diverging paths. All of the characters can live, or all of them can die in numerous different ways. According to its director, the game has an incredible 186 different endings.
Skill.
And if that sounds a little bit overwhelming in terms of replayability, remember that you can use the game's movie mode to sit back and watch the action unfold hands-free, choosing whether everyone lives or dies in advance. There's also a director's chair option in movie mode where you can set how characters will react to different situations and then see how the different combinations will alter the plot. Back in the demo, after a risque round of Truth or Dare and some overbearing teenage testosterone sends the group scattered in different directions, things begin to unravel in Hackett's Quarry quickly. As you explore the area, you may end up finding tarot cards, which act in a similar way to the totems in Until Dawn or the stone slabs in House of Ashes, which unlock premonitions involving your characters that could warn you of impending doom or give you a clue as to how to save someone. A mysterious character known only as Eliza appears every so often throughout the story to give you insight into the tarot cards and maybe even give you other hints and tips when asked. It seems like she sort of plays the role of the curator in the Dark Pictures Anthology, and her motivations are similarly murky.
Yeah? Just the three of us?
Alright, Dylan. Truth or... I sound like Abby.
Oh my gosh.
When the action kicks off in the Quarry, it first finds Nick and Abigail alone in the woods after their unfortunate Truth or Dare game. These two are a little bit love-struck and don't know how to express their feelings to one another, so luckily, a hideous monster eventually comes along to break the unbearable sexual tension. You take control of Abigail as Nick is attacked, and make the important choice of whether to run back to camp alone or try to help Nick as an unknown marksman shoots the monster off of him from the darkness. We chose to help, of course, but get attacked ourselves, though we get away relatively unscathed. It's here that we get our first QuickTime event, running away from danger. Now these events will be totally familiar to fans of Supermassive's narrative games. Generally, during any action sequence, you'll need to perform a combination of button presses or directional inputs to successfully evade trouble. You'll have microseconds to pull up on the right stick to jump over a tree root, for example, or pull left to jump clear of a river. Then there'll be moments where you'll need to mash a particular button to perform an action in time, pulling yourself up onto a ledge or slamming a door shut behind you. Depending on the sequence of events, too many mistakes can be fatal, either to the character you're controlling or to someone else that you're trying to get to before they're attacked and killed. There will also be moments where you can use force, but it's important to note that it isn't always necessary or right to take that shot. Holding back might just mean that you make a new friend, you find a new clue, or you buy someone else time to react elsewhere. And finally, when you're on the run from something, as we find ourselves to be while controlling Abigail, you might find the need to hunker down, hold your breath, and not make a sound until danger has passed. This is kind of similar to some mechanics in Supermassive's past games, like the rhythmic button presses that you had to do in time to a character's heartbeat in House of Ashes, but here you simply hold down a button until it's safe to release, or you simply run out of air. Knowing the right moment will be key to staying undetected.
Goodbye hot dogs, see you later apple pie.
Elsewhere in our demo, Jacob and Emma try to go skinny dipping, though find some decidedly unsexy newspaper clippings about missing hikers in the process. And they spot some spooky shadows lurking nearby. Swimming time is interrupted by Abigail's screams as she returns to camp, and the rest of the group run to help her. While Caitlin deals with Abby, Ryan grabs the shotgun and races to help Nick. Here you take control of Ryan and choose your path into the woods. Do you take the main route or shortcuts to try and save time? Either way will involve QTEs, and timing is everything. When you get there, Nick is bloodied but alive, though there is a local trying to drag him away. Now, there are multiple different actions you can choose to do or not do here. Do you shout a warning at the assailant? Do you shoot them? If you don't shoot them, Nick himself will eventually bite their hand and escape. Interestingly, the assailant will then shoot their own finger, the one Nick just bit, right off in response. Make of that what you will. If you do shoot them, the assailant, played by Ethan Suplee by the way, will drop a mysterious vial of something or other and run away. The demo ends here, so we'll have to wait to find out exactly how those two paths will affect our playthroughs later. But you can certainly colour us intrigued. So that's everything we've learned about the Quarry in just short of an hour's worth of gameplay. So if you're a fan of Supermassive's Dark Pictures games and of Until Dawn, you will know exactly what to expect here. And you'll no doubt be pretty excited about the story possibilities. Especially given that the Quarry was inspired by horror films like Sleepaway Camp, Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But just as it shares other Supermassive Games' many strengths, the Quarry also shares their sometimes awkward pacing and tonal issues, where scenes can feel out of place or haphazardly stitched together as they try to accommodate for the specific choices you've made out of a finite bank of footage and animation. I mean, don't get me wrong, it mostly works just fine. There are just some scenes where you can just about glimpse the gears struggling to turn beneath the surface. But look, all told, we are always up for more cheesy teen horror, and The Quarry is exactly up our Nightmare on Elm Street. And the 80s aesthetic only adds to our excitement. Keep an eye on the channel because we will definitely have more on The Quarry as we move closer to launch on June the 10th. Let us know what you think in the comments and stay out of the woods at nighttime, if you know what's good for you. Thanks for watching.
It wasn't an animal. You didn't see it. It was a woman.
Lord, this isn't helping, all right? Go! There we go. We're good. See?
Please just get us out of here.
Okay.
Max!
I'm trying. We're okay. We're safe in the car, really. We're gonna be okay.
Jeez!
Oh, fuck!